Yo, what's good? It's your boy Wilson. You watching EmceeTV The Podcast, coming at you live from Des Moines, Iowa. As always, with me and my bro.
This your boy Bigg Ray West, B-I-double-G, representing the west side of Des Moines, Iowa, not to be confused with the West Coast, and they know.
And today, we have a very special guest with us. He's an H-Town legend, a pioneer in the Texas sound, a radio legend, an MC, an author. I'm talking about none other than the one and only K-Rino. I appreciate you jumping on with us, my man.
Man, thank you so much for having me on. I'm honored to be on your platform, and I appreciate just being invited to speak a little rap music with you brothers today, man.
Man, dog, you was a legend out here, man. You was a legend, man. Your rhyming is like no other, man. The concepts, the lyricism, all that, just God tier, you dig?
Man, God is great. I'm thankful. As we were saying off camera, I was raised in lyricism. So my foundation are great lyricists that I came into the game listening to as fans. And when I decided to make the jump to try to pick the pen up for myself, that was all I knew. So it was like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna rap like those dudes rap, and once that kind of kicked off, I was gone after that, man. So I can be very thankful to the people who came before me that kind of set the tone for the type of rapper that I wanted to be.
Hell yeah.
So I wanted to see, just some of our viewers may not necessarily be familiar with your background. If you could start us off with the early days and just kind of tell us how you got into hip hop and what year that was and what type of MCs were rocking that you were able to take inspiration from.
Yeah, man. I jumped off the porch in 1983 is when I wrote my first rap. And again, at that time, that was a bit of a commercial scene, a mainstream scene. But even then, it was just a handful of rap. You had Sugar Hill Gang, you had Curtis Blow, Run DMC was just coming out. So it wasn't a lot of artists, Super Rhymes. It wasn't really a lot of artists that we could look to. And radio was not real receptive to playing the little rap music that was out. But us as youngsters and growing up in the hood, we gravitated towards the songs we did here, like Rappers Delight. And like I said, we started as fans. But I used to know the words. I used to know all the words of that stuff, man. I would rap it like I wrote it. So at some point when I got about 13 years old, I said, let me try to write one. Now a lot of lines I wrote, I stole from Melly Mel in my first rap, but it was a foundation, it was a start. So, but as time went on, to be honest with y'all brothers, man, as Run DMC started to really rise up, then LL Cool J came, and next thing you know, here comes Rakim, here comes KRS-One, and now you see this burgeoning scene starting to take place. And people used to say, man, rap ain't gonna last but a few years. It's a fad, it's a trend. I always knew it was gonna be here. I never had a fear that it wasn't gonna be around. So I dove head first into it. And once I got a little taste of it, like a crackhead getting that first hit.
Oh yeah.
Once I got a taste of it, I knew I wasn't gonna do nothing else ever.
Okay, so I'm gonna take it to the studio. When you're writing these rhymes, you know what I'm saying? They sound so brilliant and intelligent. Like how long does it take you to put a song together? Because it sounds like it would take somebody weeks to write that shit.
It depends on the song. I think what helps write the song, there are two things that kind of help me write, and I'm sure most artists can kind of feel the same way. One thing, number one, is the inspiration from the concept itself. So if you're sitting around and riding around and you come up with this concept, you immediately are excited about, ooh, that's gonna be dope when I put that together, because it hits you. You haven't written one line of it yet.
Right.
But you just know based on the concept. So that automatically starts you brainstorming. Things start to formulate like, okay, I'm gonna say this, I'm gonna say this, I'm gonna touch on this. And sometimes it happens so fast, you gotta get a pad or a recorder to kind of just spit out the notes of it so you won't forget everything. But the second thing, is a beat. Somebody sends you a dope beat.
Yeah.
And the beat actually helps you write and create the concept based on the mood and the tone of the beat. So those are the two things. But I've had a lot of songs Brother Ray, that people have said, man, I know that took you weeks to write, but
for real.
surprisingly, some of those songs I wrote in one night or wrote over the course of a couple of days, in different
Damn.
settings. But then there are some that may not even be as complex as that, and I might have worked on it 2 weeks. So you can never say or tell like, okay, this is gonna be even on a what people would view to be a real technically lyrical song. Sometimes it just falls out and it doesn't take as long as people think it might.
Right.
Now, still, shout out to the comment section. We got the homie CP up in here. He said, let's go. Shout out to Stephen Ray for locking in with K-Rino. Y'all stay grinding. And then Test One jumped up in here. He said, this is awesome. And I believe he's featured on that track that y'all got with GFG.
Yeah, shout out to my OG Test One, man.
Salute.
So I wanted to stay kind of talking about your writing process. So when you do a record like The Industry, do you go into it with a concept already kind of lined out, and then as you write the record, you try and gear them towards something like that, or do you just kind of let it flow and just see where the beat takes you on each individual song?
Yeah, when you speak about The Industry, the actual title song itself, that's one of the ones that kind of it writes itself to a degree, because what happened with that was the first thought was I'm just talking about the music industry. But I thought about it, I was like, well, man, everything around us is an industry in some form and fashion. So that's how it branched off, no pun intended, but it branched off into Hollywood, it branched off into the government, it branched off into the pharmaceutical everything is an industry. And when you look at all those different industries, it's like they're really not geared towards the benefit of the people. There are really a lot of wicked industries. So for that particular one, it was easy to kind of put an outline together of where the directions we want to go. And that's why the song was so long, because I wanted to make sure I covered as much of it as I could. But yeah, but to your point, yeah, those things, the beats and the ideas that come together, once you get them, it helps you create. It helps you create.
I like how you made the title Double Entendre. You know what I mean? Yeah, that was dope. That was dope.
Absolutely. It's like it's a tree with branches.
Yeah, dog.
Each industry represents a branch, that's trying to end us.
Yeah. Man, for me, I love that record. That sets it off. But number two, man, Charged Particles. I was like, this man is nuts, dog. Like, what can you tell us about the creative process of Charged Particles?
It's just in a long line of those lyrical songs that I've been blessed for my support system and my fan base to expect on every album. So it falls into that line of like, I gotta give y'all one of those where I just go all the way through on every album. So it's in the same family as Perpetual Ascension and Mind Marathon and other songs, duality songs I've done like that. And I know my supporters would decapitate me if I didn't have at least one of those on every album. So yeah.
How long did it take you to write that record?
I wrote that one over a course of probably a couple of weeks.
Okay.
That's one of the ones that did take a long time, but it wasn't because I was struggling with it or another. It was more so because as I was putting this album together, which took a long time, I had other things that I was doing at the time, so I wasn't able to be in a pocket where I could just sit down and go all the way through. I would write, be good for a couple of days. Then we had some shows somewhere. I'm doing a podcast. So a lot of things were taken away from the time I had to work on it.
I noticed on this one that, to best I could tell, you didn't have any features. Was that by design, or it just happened to work out that way that you were just like, I did?
Nah, brother Will, I got in trouble behind that, man, because a lot of my SPC brothers, they was like, man, I better be on this record. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna send you a beat. I got something for you, and I never got around to it because, like I said earlier, it took me so long. I got behind on this album. I actually started working on it a while back. Then I stopped for like 2 months. I was stopped so long to where my brother K Water, who's my engineer, he had to call me like, hey man, what's up with the album? You know, because he used to me going in and knocking it out. But a lot of the homies was like, man, I want to be on this album. And I never got around to, because once I got back to working on the album, now I'm trying to finish. So, and you know, with rappers, you know how we are. We like, we might send the verse right back in. We might come drop it, or it might take a month for the rapper to come in and do it. So I had to finish up. But I'm getting ready to backdoor this album with two more that I will have my SPC brothers prominently featured on. So.
Yeah,
Oh man, I see.
all right, man, come on now.
we have one feature on the album. That's my sister Sonya Townsend, the singer that sung on Song of Life. But no rappers. I'm the only rapping boy. And I want to let y'all in on something that nobody knows yet. I'm getting ready to do another project that's gonna be like, I don't think it's gonna be like nothing that nobody has done to my knowledge. If y'all have knowledge of this, y'all can educate me. I'm getting ready to make an album called the title is gonna be called 1985, and I'm going in a time machine, and everything on the album is gonna be reflective of that time frame. The beats, it ain't gonna sound like no modern. The way we rap, we're gonna be rapping like we rapped in '85. We're gonna be flowing. I came with the party. We gonna rapping like that. We're going back to the '85 style. We're gonna put that out in 2026. So I'm gonna have a lot of my homies, old school homies that rap back then. And the rule gonna be, hey man, you get on this album, you gotta rap like it's 1985. You know,
that's dope.
That's a beautiful concept. I have a homeboy named Trip Shelton. He didn't do that exact concept, but his idea was to start the album off instrumental wise into the 80s and then gradually modernize. So I'm gonna send you that album too. He's a super lyricist too, dog.
Yeah, that's dope, man. Yeah, we have to never let that era die or be forgotten, because it's the foundation of the era that we in right now. And I'm one of the artists who is blessed to have come up in that era and still doing it now. So I've seen every iteration of rap, you know. So it's like the way that they were rapping in '85. I was a rapper in '85, so I know exactly how we was rapping. When '90s came and things kind of changed up a little bit, I've been through all of the dimensions, if you will. So yeah, it's gonna be fun to do that.
It's kind of cool. We got three different perspectives on here, because you got a couple years on me. I was born in '84, and I started, you know what I mean, getting into music and whatnot in the '90s. But Ray came on the scene a little bit later than me. But I mean, Ray is super proficient. He's a little younger than me. You know what I mean? But you know what I mean. So we got different generations of the music we came up on in the soundtrack to our lives. So that's kind of cool to have this going on right now.
Yeah, you know, that's the beauty of it now. KRS-One had the song "I'm Still Number One" back in the days. That came out in '88, if I'm not mistaken. And he was saying back then, he said rap is still an art and no one's from the old school, because rap is still a brand new tool. He said, what did he say? He said no one's from the old school because rap on a whole isn't even 20 years old. Now he's saying that at the time. You know, so now you fast forward almost 30 years from that song. Now they just had the 50th anniversary of hip hop, and now rap is over. Hip hop and rap is over 50 some years old. So you have these generations now, you know, and even under Ray, there's another generation younger than coming up that they listen to the stuff they listen to.
Yeah,
you might not be able to fully relate to or understand what they're getting out of it, but in their mind, that's the golden era. They living in the golden era for them, you know. But if you ask us what our golden era is, we're closer. Like, Will, you closer to me, Ray, a little bit under, but we kind of merged to where it's like you can appreciate the people I listen to, and I can appreciate the people that y'all listen to. It's kind of close, but that 12 to 18 to 20-year-olds, we might be like, I don't relate, and they may or may not relate to what we do. But that's why we got to bridge those gaps, to educate each other, because it ain't just about the old school. Let me tell y'all youngsters something. Nah, it's a lot that they can learn from, that we can learn from them.
For
Amen.
sure. Man, I feel like I have to ask you about so this is the first time my OG Test One put me on to you, and the first time I ever heard you was fucking Grand Deception, dog, and my mind was melted. And I remember I reached out to you after I first heard that song. I reached out to you and told you that shit melted my mind, and I had to work with you. And surprisingly, you got back with me quick, and we made that shit happen. But what can you tell us about Grand Deception, man?
Man, when I was 22 years old, I was invited to visit the Muhammad Mosque 45 in Houston, Nation of Islam, and I heard the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad for the first time.
Yes,
now,
sir.
over years, I would pick up different pieces of knowledge that I learned from attending the mosque, and I used to have this notebook, not my rap notebook, but another notebook where I kept notes of all of the information and wisdom that I learned through the teachings. So around that time, before Grand Deception came out, which is, I think it came out in 08 or 09, I can't remember, but around that time, I just wanted to make a song that combined all these different
Man.
bodies of knowledge, all these different bits of information, and I wanted to put them on one song that represented the large scale of how we've been deceived about a lot of things that we take to be the truth. So that's why I was touching on different subjects all over the place. So laid Grand Deception, I got the beat. When I first heard the beat, oh yeah, this is perfect. And I just went through my notes.
Right.
And I went through everything and just much as I could fit in there, and I just put it all on one song. But what really, what I got to give credit to, as far as the reach that the song was able to accomplish, where people was really gravitating towards it, was the visual that was put together. Because most people saw the visual at the same time they first heard the song, and this brother, he put it together and he put it on YouTube, and I was like mind blown, because
Man.
he showed everything that I said
Man.
in detail, and I was like, man, he couldn't have did this better if he tried,
Yeah.
So I think if that visual did not exist, people would still like the song, but I don't think it would have had the impact that it had if he hadn't put that visual in.
And then any chance of a part two?
Well, people ask me that a lot, but what I have done, I've made a lot of songs that kind of
For sure.
follow that template,
For sure. For
but
sure.
they may not be titled Grand Deception, but they kind of follow that template. Where I'm
Absolutely.
putting a lot. I got one called Lifting the Veil, and I got a few others
Yep.
that I've done that on. I think that if there was ever a situation where enough circumstances came to my mind that I could look at and say, well, man, this is enough stuff to really go into another version of that, then I would. But so far, that hasn't happened yet.
For sure.
So with the new record coming out, it came out April 3rd. Are you thinking about doing any touring to kind of promote the album a little bit, or have you got that far yet?
Yeah, well, we always doing shows. I wouldn't always necessarily refer to it as me touring and nothing like that, but we always got shows coming up and things of that nature. But our promo is nonstop anyway, but I'm always open for booking, if somebody wants to bring me down and to get it on, because we year round in this thing, man. It don't stop. But yeah, we definitely open to do that, man. Because I really want to push this project. I really want to push this project and put it in a lot of people's ears and put their eyes on it, so they'll see where we're going with it. Because it's really, to be honest with you, it's a semi-concept album. Every song is not really reflective of the title, but there are a lot of songs that feed into that. Songs like Dreamland and songs like Dead Money. Those are songs that are all tied into that industry title. So it's kind of a concept album that I really want to push.
It's a dope album. I think my favorite track off of it, especially being somebody that's kind of that's into the lyrical technicality of the record. I like Simile Surplus.
Oh
That one went hard as heck.
man, thank you, man. You were, you know, that's another one that's like I say, I would get decapitated. See, I've done over the years with this Flow Session series. You know, I've had Flow Session number 1, number 2, number 4, 5, all the way through. Flow Session Resurrection, Flow Session Finale, from the finale to the resurrection. So that song is really nothing but another flow session, but just with a different title. Because when you do the flow sessions, when you're doing the punchlines, a lot of punchlines, you're doing the simile, you're doing the comparisons, like something like this, like that, like that. So that's why I titled it that instead of another flow session. But yeah, you know, as long as rappers and lyricists exist, there's gonna be punchlines. There's gonna be clever punchlines and like you said, double entendres and wordplay and multi-syllable patterns and brackets and all that. So, you know, I got to be true to the core principles of lyricism and rap. So just like when I was telling Ray, we're gonna always have a charged particles type of song on the record. We're gonna always have a punchline record. You know, it just got to be. That's just the law.
Yeah.
You know?
Who were some of the OGs holding it down in Houston when you first came on the scene?
Man, we got to start with my OG Wicked Cricket, man. Rest in peace. Wicked Cricket was probably the first rap celebrity to come out of the city of Houston. This was long before a lot of people was making records. He was just a dude that would be at all of the clubs, all of the skating rings, all of the talent shows. And he was this guy, the real flamboyant guy, wore a bunch of jewelry and rings and chains and all that, man. And he would rap and come off the dome. And everybody knew him long before records was being put out, long before the internet was thought of. And when we saw him, if you went somewhere and you saw Wicked Cricket, it was almost like seeing Run DMC. So,
hell yeah.
he was that guy for us, you know. But then later on, you had people like Jazzy Red and Lester Sir Pace, and you know, then you come up to people like that were my contemporaries, but I still respected and looked up to them, like Willie D from the Ghetto Boys and Klondike Cat, you know, people like that. So those are a lot of the people who we had our eyes on back in the days. Like, man, even though we looked at the mainstream artists, we had people right in our city that
hell yeah
showed up. It was like, it is, you know, like, yeah.
What can you tell us about working with Canibus and Scarface? How did them collabs come along?
Well, you know, me and Face, we come up out the same neighborhood. You know, we from the same streets, from the same cuts, you know. So we worked parallel. Our careers ran parallel because we were the exact same age, and we started around the same time. So we were working at the same time. We were just in different realms, you know. So yeah, Face, that's 30 years plus. But in terms of working with Canibus, man, it was like I got an email one day, and I thought somebody was playing a prank on me. You know? And like I read this email, and like, yeah, this Canibus, man, I'm working on this project called Lyrical Law. I want you to be on it. I'm like, nah, it ain't
right.
But sometimes you can just read and you can tell when it's fake, but sometimes you can read and you can tell when it's real. So the more I read, I was like, okay, this seemed like it could. So when I reached back and then when he responded, I was like, okay, I know this the real deal. So I was honored that somebody of that caliber and that status, you know, will reach out to me to want to put me on this project, because the pride that I take from being on that Lyrical Law album, if I'm not mistaken, I'm the only Southern rapper on that project, you know. And so when I came into being on that project, I was holding my region up in my mind because being from Texas, man, we used to get it, bro. We used to hear it all the time, man. Man, y'all country, y'all can't.
Y'all just syrup sippers.
All around here, the roping cows, and you know, so they didn't have respect for us as being able to be lyricists. You know, so for Canibus to reach out and be like, nah, man, I want you on this record. I was like, man, okay, well, I'm gonna get down and I'm not gonna let you down. So it was just an honor, man. You know, and since then, you know, I've been able to work with a lot of the great lyricists. Because to be honest with y'all, man, it's like when I was coming up, when I was first starting, I was rapping for fun. But as I got into my 20s, um, there was a moment where the cap was twisted off of me to where it's like, well, I felt like, well, you know, I can get down with anybody. You know, I'm comparable with anybody. You know, respectfully saying that, but you don't always envision yourself working with these people. You know what I'm saying? So Canibus was like probably the first guy to reach out, and then but since then, you know, I worked with all kind of greats, man. You know, from Razzcast, Canibus. Just did some stuff with Cambada recently, man. You know, just different killers and people that I may be forgetting. So I'm honored, man, to just even be what people say. Even if somebody say, well, who is that dude? Hey, man, well, at least I'm on there. I'm on
Yeah.
there. We'll find out who it is. It's all good. You know, it's all good.
Already.
That's awesome. Yeah, I saw you got a track with my bro Paul Wall, man. That's I was kind of skimming through your discography. You've worked with the greats.
Well, you know, in Houston, it's not too many people. It's a few people that I haven't worked with from Houston, which is crazy. But I feel like over time, all of those pieces are gonna plug in together at some point. Yeah, like if you think about Houston, man, I've done songs with pretty much anybody to come out the city, but that's still a handful that I never got a chance to work with, you know. So, but it'll come at some point.
I wanted to kind of switch gears a little bit and talk about your transition into radio. And how did you get into that?
Yeah, man. There's a radio station in Houston called KPFT, and they've been around for years, a community station. And they would open a door for different people, regular people like us. You could go in there and apply to get a show, you know, just based on what you're talking about. And they may give you, it may be a talk show, it may be a music show. And for years, that's just how it's been. I never ever had a desire to be in no radio, but that was a show that used to run on KPFT. It was called Damage Control. They've been around almost 30 years, and one of my homies, Matt Sanzala, and my homie Zen, rest in peace, DJ Chill, they had that spot locked up, and they would open the door for local rappers to come in every Wednesday night around, I think around 10 o'clock, something like that. You just show up at the station, there's 90 rappers in there. And somehow they would play everybody's stuff. They would bring 3 or 4 or 5 cats in there at a time and interview you real quick. You might get a 5-minute interview. They would make sure they accommodated everybody. And it was like a throwback station we had called Kids Jam back in the days. That's why I respected the principle of it. So that same station, my big brother, my mentor, Dr. Abdul Halim Muhammad, he had a radio show there for probably 15 years. And a brother that was with him, my brother Brian, he hit me one day and said, hey man, KPFT got a spot open for a radio show. And I was like, I ain't interested in doing no radio. I was like what you telling me for? So man, 5 minutes later, I said, no, I don't want to do it. 5 minutes later, I called him back. I said, you know what, I will do it. But it's not gonna be music. I'm gonna do commentary. I'll interview rappers and all that, but my desire was not to be a DJ playing music. So I took the show and, it became K-Rino Radio, and we did it for, can't remember how long, we did it for a couple of years up until a little bit past COVID. And, then I stopped and transitioned over to the podcast.
The list of guests you've had on are pretty unbelievable. I mean, I was skimming through some of the episodes, and I mean, you've worked with everybody. Who would you say were some of your favorites that you got to interview?
Radio or podcast or either?
Either one.
Yeah. Well, the podcast, it took it to another level. But yeah, you got to think, man. We had KRS-One on the podcast, man.
The
Like
teacher.
that's like my favorite all time. So that was like some, like they say, bucket list type stuff.
Uh-huh.
So we've interviewed some of my I would say not necessarily favorite interviews, but biggest interviews is a difference, even though some are one and the same. But to have KRS-One, man, to have um, Killer Mike, Jay Prince, Scarface, Zero, Bun B, um, people, I'm drawing blanks, but Nuri Muhammad, who we recently did, so
I
some of
love listening to Nuri. That boy, hey, he's sharp.
yeah, man,
He's
yeah.
sharp.
So the podcasting space and the radio space has been similar to the rap space in that people who I may have never imagined that I would actually be on rap records with, now I'm interviewing people that I never imagined that I would be sitting down interviewing. So yeah, that's a great question. It just that's what it is to me. It's like, man, it's afforded me the opportunity to really sit down with some people that I really respect and look up to and admire, and not to discredit the lesser known people that we've had on the show, because I tell people all the time, I get on a lot of my homies and even some of the subscribers, I be like, hey, man, y'all just want to listen and watch the show if I got somebody on there that y'all know. I'm like, some of the best interviews and information comes from the lesser known people. We'll bring
Okay.
somebody on that's a real estate investor, a financial advisor, a home, things of that nature, and they will give some of the most valuable information. And that episode get 120 views. You know?
Yep.
So we got to get out this mindset of just chasing names. Oh, he got this guy, and I'm gonna watch this one. But nah, man, watch the ones with somebody that y'all don't know, and y'all will get so much game and information. It's amazing.
I
I
wanted to
try.
add.
Oh, go ahead, Ray. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Flutter.
I was just gonna say I try and challenge I listen to a lot of podcasts and I try and challenge myself to do that a little bit. You know what I mean? There'll be somebody I listen to and I'll be like, well, let me see what this man talking about with him on this one.
Yeah. No, because some of the name people, you'd be boring sometimes, you know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? But this unknown cat to get up there and be informative and entertaining at the same time, and I think that just like you said, if you give yourself a chance, it's like watching a movie that some nights you just want to watch a movie, but you don't know exactly what you want to watch. So, okay, yeah, Titanic is on. Okay, it's a big production, but you might just be scrolling through and like, man, what is this movie about? And you give it a chance, and you just start, and you get 5-10 minutes in, you're like, oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
But it's not on the radar as much as some of the more promoted stuff.
100.
I wanted to ask you. Okay, so when you're writing, are you writing your rhymes in the phone? Or are you pen and paper? And then when it comes to performing, how do you feel about rapping over vocals?
Man, you already know. Well, two things. If I knew you was gonna ask that question, I would have worn my shirt that says "Stop rapping over your vocals."
Oh, you know the homie Marcel?
Yeah, I got a shirt that says that. I had it specially made. Matter of fact, by my homie George, who made this one, "Lean Towards the Love." But nah, I don't. I hate to see rappers still rapping over their vocals.
Tell them.
I understand some of the reasoning that they spit out, but I still don't give it a pass, because my theory has always been, look, man, if I want to hear the record, I will play the record.
Hello.
Amen.
But if I come to see you, if I pay to see you, I want to see whatever song you perform, however you spitting on that song, I want to see if you can do it live.
Absolutely.
I want to see if you can do it in person. That's where the value of the live show comes in. I want to be able to go home, and if somebody say, man, how was the show? I want to say, man, that dude got up there and just was
Man.
So that's my issue with that. And as far as my writing, Remember, I started in '83. So all I know, y'all hear this all I know, man. This all I know. This is my sword. You know, this is my instrument. So, and it's a therapeutic method. It's a therapeutic methodology because it's the physical act of writing, thinking, writing. Now you could think it, type it, that's cool, but I don't trust the technology.
I hear you.
Know? What if I drop my phone in the toilet?
Yeah.
You know, what if my phone falls out my pocket and then a truck runs over it?
Absolutely.
I've lost everything.
There went a whole album.
Yeah. And then you're not gonna remember that stuff exactly. You can try to read. So I got to always have it on paper, man. You know, in a safe place. You know, because you take your phone with you everywhere, but you don't take your rhyme book with you everywhere. You know, I used to. You know, I got paranoid. But now, man, I did a show. I had a show coming up in Australia some years and years back, and the promoter called me on the phone, and he said, "Hey, man, let me ask you a question." He said, "Do you rap over your vocals?" And I got offended. I was like, "Nah, man, what you talking about? Nah, man, I ain't." Nah. I started going in. He said, "No." He said, "That's good. I wanted to ask you that because," he said, "if you come out here and you rap over your vocals, they're gonna boo you off the stage." I was like, "Oh, okay." He was trying to protect me, like, just in case you do, don't. So it's parts of the world that's not even a thought to do, you know.
Man.
But now it's so prevalent, and because I had this conversation a lot, and I seen some cats on the Grammys, and you could hear that they rapping over their phone. I'm like, why y'all doing? Like, come on, man.
You got to know the song by
now. The mic way down by their waist, but the music the words still rhyming. You know what I'm talking
about? Yeah. And it's crazy because it just shameless plug. The episode of the Underground Dialogue podcast that we ran last night had one of my homies cook on the episode, and we was talking about that. And he made a good point. He was talking about how he was like, man, he said, I work out to get my wind up because a lot of rappers will say, well, man, I get tired when I'm up there. Okay, well, you need to get in shape.
Yeah.
Get in shape to where you can deliver your vocals in a way. You're not gonna be perfect because the one thing about it, when you do everything live, you're gonna mess up sometime.
You get one take.
Yeah, you ain't gonna one take Jake it every time. But to me, as crazy as this might sound, that's the authenticity of it. You know, I've seen every artist that I respect and look up to, from rap to R&B. I have watched and studied their performances. I've seen all of them mess up on.
Hell yeah.
From Stevie Wonder to Prince, I've seen them all mess a word up. So when the first time I saw Prince mess up, I was like,
green light. You know what I'm talking about?
I always viewed him as like, this dude is angelic. He makes no mistakes.
Yeah, I hear you.
So when I first saw, I was like, oh, I don't feel so bad no more. He's human. He's human. Nah, man, you know, you give it to him, and not that you set out to make a mistake when you perform, but I've had moments where I messed up and I turned it into a great moment because I just improv'd it out, you know what I'm saying? And it ended up pleasing the crowd more than if I wouldn't have messed up.
Yeah.
So things happen, man, but you gotta be able to step out with confidence and rehearse your stuff, practice your stuff, so when you get on stage, you prepared and you can do your best like that.
For sure. We only got a couple more minutes left, right? What should we close it out on? I got a easy one I want to throw at him real quick. But
I just got one more quick one, and then you can have whatever.
Okay.
On the social media, you know what I'm saying? What's the best way to get at you? And then, are you in control of your social media? Are you the type to respond to the guys in the comments and messages, or does somebody else run all that for you?
Ray, you already know. I responded to you.
I know. This for them other niggas.
No, it's all me, man. You know, I'm my own manager. I'm my own booking agent. I do everything, man. So if y'all hit me up on Instagram, the real K-Rino #1. You hit me on Facebook. I got 3 different pages. K-Rino Raps are 2 of them. And or if you email me at spckrino@aol. Any response that comes is gonna be from me. it's gonna
Hello.
be. So yeah, so that's what it is.
Perfect. So I just wanted to know who. I mean, you're tapped in on the Houston scene very well. You know what I mean? Obviously, being in the radio and the podcast scene and everything else. Who are some upcoming Houston MCs that you think we should be on the lookout for that are starting to kind of make noise and we should pay attention to?
Man, there are some, but their names slip my mind.
I kind of put you on the spot.
I hear about it's a great question, and it really just makes me have to do my homework because I ask that question to artists who come on my show, and they'll tell me, they'll give me names of people, and sometimes the same names will come from different guests. Where I go, okay, well, you know what? Somebody else mentioned that guy. Somebody else mentioned that guy. So there are artists coming up out the city that are starting to really make some noise, man. And I'm all for any of them. I'm all for any of them because one of the biggest complaints that we have in Houston, and it may be like this in y'all's area too, but we've had ups and downs in this city. We've had rappers from ghetto boys who hit on the mainstream level. Then you had the screwed up click era, where you had people like Lil Flip and Kiki and those guys who hit it. Then you had Swish House with Paul Wall, Chameleon, and Mike Jones, Slim Thug, those guys who hit it. Then it kind of dips. So people will always say, well, man, Houston didn't stay on top because of this reason. Houston fell off because of this reason. So any artist that's coming up, man, that could bring us back to some former glory, I'm with it. I'm with it. I just say that we should start working with each other more and work with any art. If you up, work with somebody that's not up, but you see the potential for them to be up, or you see how talented they are, and your platform could be the one that bring them up.
Amen.
Yeah.
That's what we got to do, man.
Hell yeah.
Hey man, the homie Test One jumped in here. He said B Fetty. I'm not familiar with him, but he must be somebody out of your area, maybe.
B Fetty, that's my homie, man. A shout out to my homie B. Fetty, man. That's my guy, man. Good brother. We did a record. We did a song on his record, one of the last, his last project. I think he's getting ready to work on a new one, but another project he did, I was on one of the tracks, man. So yeah, that's a good brother. Shout out to B Fetty and my brother Agony Life, man. Straight up.
Heck yeah. The homie CP jumped in here. He said, amazing interview. Great questions, fellas. History from a legendary source. Yeah, a lot of love up in here today, my guy.
Man, look, I lean towards the love, man.
Hello.
I appreciate all of y'all, man, because I've been doing this 40-some years, and I've seen a lot of people that started with me, and they stopped. They fell off because of life. They fell off because they were not able to handle the rigorous trials that the industry imposes upon you as an artist. So some people are like, man, I don't want to do this no more. So for me to be still around all these years later and people still showing me love, man, I'm grateful. I thank God for it, and thank God for y'all.
Heck yeah. Well, hey, thank you so much for jumping on today. This your boy Wilson for EmceeTV.
This your boy Bigg Ray West, BIGG, representing the west side of Des Moines, Iowa, not to be confused with the West Coast, and they know.
And today's extra special guest was
your big brother K-Rino. Hey, look, man, I'm looking back there. I'm looking at both y'all walls, trying to see what I can jack off. Hey, wait, I'm coming for that public enemy. I need that public enemy poster. Let me see what you got back there, Will. I can't really see what you got back there, but I'm coming for it. I want that.
I got a hip-hop museum. I got Wu-Tang autographs. I got
already, man. I appreciate y'all having me, man.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah, until next time, thank you so much for everybody watching, sharing, liking, and supporting the podcast. Definitely tap into Underground Radio with K-Rino. And until next time, we out.
Peace.
We've been known to snatch a piece or two. Y'all can't take over cause we gon' eat the you. Rock steady like a ginger brought Aretha through. This shit torture and I'ma keep feeding you. On that East Coast shit, y'all better duck down. Price on his dome, 5 on it like yuck mouth. When the plug get knocked, that's when the price jumps. American Nightmare, that's where the Spice One. Rappers running like Ricky in the alleyway. Putting an end to the week, no Saturday. They want static, get it shaking like Cassius Clay, passionate thugs, mixing Douce with Alizé.
Don't play with us, them goons ain't got you safe enough. Yellow fuck 'em like Smokey off the angel dust. My life's so real, sounds like I made it up. Been up so long, I don't remember waking up. Dangerous, sharper than a razor's touch. We hit that strip and get the caking up. God hate ugly, so ain't no saving us. Been up so long, I don't remember waking up.
Big balls don't take